The USC spring game has come and gone. We saw a lot of big plays, some interesting rotations, and the most vanilla play calling I have ever seen. But overall, I do have takeaways. And before we get into those, I do want to thank today's sponsor, SeatGeek. SeatGeek is a ticketing service that takes tickets from all over the web and puts them into one very easy to find place. They also grade every single listing from a scale of 1 to 10, so you know if you're getting a fair deal or not. Whether it's baseball, hockey, or concert, SeatGeek has you covered during the football offseason. And you can now use my promo code TrojanBlade at checkout for an additional $20 off your first order. Thank you so much, SeatGeek, and thank you all for being here. Now let's get into the spring game. So we simply can't start anywhere other than the defense. I mean, these guys just look completely different. And I mentioned the vanilla play calling on both sides. It was extremely basic. So it was just man against man, will against will. And frankly, the defense kicked the offense's ass overall in the day. But the first thing that stood out to me was the communication in the secondary. Those guys did not stop talking the entire game. We hear Coach Lynn talk about obnoxious communication over and over, and we saw that in this scrimmage. And sticking with the secondary, my player of the game was new Trojan corner DeCarlos Nicholson. Man, this guy was flying around. You saw him getting a pick early on. He had a PBU and Miller tried to loft that ball over his head. And you really see this with our corners as a group, but DeCarlos specifically, the length really blurs the picture for opposing quarterbacks. You think you have a window to fit a ball in, but the arms are too long, the strides are too long, and the gap is made up very quickly. And we definitely saw that today. The quarterbacks were having a very hard time throwing the ball downfield all day, really because of the elite corner play. Prophet Brown was another standout as well. The coaches have been praising him during this spring camp, and you see why. Very active around the ball all day, obviously had the huge pick six. Love to see him taking big strides and playing himself into a role in the defense this year. Christian Pierce is a guy that many USC fans are so excited about, and he had a massive PBU in the end zone against Deuce Robinson. Christian is as talented a player as we have on the roster. Love seeing him being healthy enough to play and making impact plays like that. Jacoby Covington had a nice day as well. He actually created that tip ball that Prophet Brown returned for 6. And man, Marcellus Williams, he's been the talk of USC spring ball. And what a play that was to bait Miller Moss into throwing that hole shot. He really was playing at a very high level, and he's clearly advanced beyond his years. He is someone I think is going to have a big role this year for USC. And yeah, overall, the secondary was by far the best group on the field for SC, offense or defense. They were absolutely spectacular today. All right, now let's talk linebackers. I didn't notice them very much today, to be honest. That's not a knock against them at all. That's just kind of how the game went. Eric Gentry made some nice plays in the run game. Easton's movement really stood out. He was covering a lot of ground out there. He seems like a very fluid athlete. But the main takeaway I had from the linebackers was that true freshman Desmond Stevens got some run with the ones, which obviously speaks to his progress and natural talent. You see him out there. The guy looks completely built. He looks ready for Big Ten football. Really excited about him and his progress. Elijah Newby looked as athletic as any player on the field. I don't know if it's going to be this year, but this kid is going to be a star for us. And the defensive line. The big key here is that these guys are huge. So much bigger than last year. Jamil Muhammad looked like a brand new man out there. He was bigger, faster, stronger. But player-wise, the big standout to me is true freshman Cameron Fountain. Goodness, this kid is both quick and powerful. He's a very instinctual player as well. He got into the backfield multiple times and made a play on the ball carrier, which was great to see. But yeah, overall, the main thing I took away from this defensive line is just the amount of rotational options Danton Lynn has at his disposal. I think back to 2022, how when Tooley would come out of the game, everything else went to shit. It won't be like that this year. There are a lot of options to keep everyone fresh, and the production's not just going to fall off a cliff. This line is deep, this line is talented, and this line is so much better than what we've had in years past. Now, we were going thud and not full contact when the ones were out there, so it was hard to fully gauge who was winning each rep. But yeah, I still came away very impressed with the get off and strength of the defensive line. But yeah, overall, the defense won the day for sure, and I am more optimistic about our defense now than I was this morning. Now, talking about the offense, it was so bland, so vanilla. I don't know what real takeaways there are. There are some little observations I have, but I don't think we saw anything we didn't already know. Jaden Mayava looked exactly like how he did at UNLV last year. A terrible, terrible interception, but then responding and playing well the rest of the game. I will say it is funny to see a 6'4" quarterback wearing the number 14 jersey, dropping snaps and running around making plays. Elijah Page was fantastic today. He's so calm, so composed. The technique is just beautiful. It is what I've come to expect from him though, so no surprise there. The QBs today all had some good moments and all had some ugly ones as well. And one thing I will say about the quarterbacks is that they can call this a competition all they want, but Miller Moss is your starting quarterback, ladies and gentlemen. I saw some debate on Twitter about this, and yeah, guys, Miller's the starting quarterback. That's not going to change from now until September. But yeah, again, it was very hard to take anything away from this game. I mean, we all know our wide receivers are fantastic, especially those first four. I was very impressed with both Xavier Jordan and Jaden Richardson. Jaden was showing off those great hands he has, and Xavier looks very dangerous when he has the ball in his hands. We saw his playmaking skills in high school, but that really translated related to the field today. But yeah, again, I don't want to talk to just talk. There aren't a lot of takeaways from the offensive side of the ball. When you're going thud especially, it's so hard to tell what the running backs are actually doing. Was it a 1-yard gain? Was it a 20-yard gain? We're just never going to know. But yeah, guys, those are my initial thoughts on the spring game. I am going to do a rewatch, and then at that point, I will probably have some more opinions on this. But of course, I do want to hear from you guys. Please let me know your thoughts down below. Also, shout out to everyone that sent in their pictures from the spring game. Make sure you follow me on Twitter because I do things like this from time to time. I put out a tweet this morning asking for fans to send in pictures, and of course, you saw them rolling throughout the course of this video. So yeah, make sure you head over to Twitter and give me a follow. It's at the Trojan Blade. But guys, that will do it for me today. If you did happen to enjoy this video, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. You're all awesome, and as always, take care and fight on.